Hello to everyone here. Thanks for coming. All that good stuff. This is going to be about, we're talking about comics now. We talked about games. Now it's time to talk about comics. All in the name of art, you know? Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So before I can get into Wildstar Press as a whole, I got to tell you a little bit about myself so you know that I am in fact qualified. Also, feel free to ask questions. I do have a section at the end for questions, but you can send questions, and if I see it, I'll, respond. But a little bit about me. My name is Akira Brown. A lot of people know me as Blue online. So whichever one floats your boat, whichever one you get to first. I graduated from Savannah College of Art and Design in June of 2019 with a sequa major, which sequa is just a fancy word for sequential arts, which is fancier to say comics and storyboarding. I have a major in that. I'm a writer, editor, and now I have a 3-year-old indie comics publishing company, and it will be 4 years old in September 2022. And while that stuff is pretty straightforward, how I got to where I am now is less straightforward. I started as an aspiring journalist back in high school, then moved into art because I decided journalism was bad. No offense to anyone that is a journalist. I just didn't like it. And then so when I moved into art, I was big on comics, but I didn't want to pursue an English major. So, why not work on the art part? But then my love for editing developed through things like class critiques. And if you've been to an art school, you know all about class critiques and things. And essentially that's where I found my love for my eye for detail, if you would. And critique days aren't seen as the most fun day, but for me, I use it as sort of a challenge for my editing skill. But it wasn't until a professor who worked as an editor for Dark Horse came to SCAD as a teacher that I really did start to cement the fact that I pretty much went from art's cool and all, but what about editing? Editing is fun. And if you don't know what a comics editor is, it's the person that pretty much helps you make your story better than what you originally had. So you have an idea, and someone else, me, would say, hey, this is great, but let's make it better. So then, I jumped into editing. More stuff about me. In college, I was a moderator for a lot of zines, or in this case, art books, because zines nowadays are way too fancy to be called zines. They're definitely art books. They ranged from fandoms like One Piece to my own original character fashion series called Rose Magazine. There's 2 of the magazines there, 2 of 3. And those were the first projects that taught me how to manage a group of artists, keep documents organized, how submissions process work, that whole 9 yards. And then my school's comic club started doing anthologies, so I learned how to do the exact same thing with zines, except with the addition to reading comic proposals instead of just reading ideas for illustrations. And after graduating, I went on to intern for Saturday AM, a Western manga company. It's a Western manga company. It's mostly digital, from what I remember. It gave me the opportunity to see more into the submissions process or pitch proposal process, how they went through and accepted stories, and now, as I continue as an assistant editor for Mad Cave while running this particular press, is all just a roundabout way to say that, I am qualified to do what I do. So, with that being said, what is Wildstar Press? In the short form, it's an indie comic publisher uplifting the voices of diverse creators, because we love diversity in this house. Essentially, I partner with marginalized artists, comic creators specifically, POC, LGBT, and the rest of the letters, disabled, etc., to publish their comic stories. That is the sum up of it. Why publishing? Great question. Thank you for asking. Being told no didn't discourage me. I just decided to do it myself. And that's kind of like the running theme of like spite, quote unquote. I've submitted my own comic pitches to several different publishers and sent resumes for others to work for. And, you know, at the end of the day, instead of moping about not getting anything back because they didn't want to hire me, I figured, you know what? Why not just do it myself? It couldn't be that hard. And it was also more than just me wanting to do something out of spite. It was also because, like the second point, indie publishing is a vast ocean of untapped market. And more markets mean more marginalized people can see their work published. For me, superheroes are great. If you know me, you know that I'm a really big fan of Batman. But being at SCAD, being in all of these art communities, even like this Discord here, I've seen so many stories that people have created, like from peers to friends, etc., that are far more interesting than what the quote unquote mainstream has to offer, because they're just refreshingly new and character driven and all of these nice pretty adjectives to describe very good comics. But at the end of the day, there's no space for them, especially if, you know, you're marginalized, because as we all know, first pick is usually white and cis and, you know, het, etc., unfortunately. Marginalized communities don't normally get that first pick. Nor do we get the representation that we want in said comics. So I made sure that my goal for the press was not only to be a platform for my peers and other indie creators, but also that marginalized people would come first. You know, getting to see the representation that I wanted alongside what, you know, representation that we deserve to see. And I'm not the only one that does this. There's definitely other small indie press or publishers out there. But having the market, like I said, having the market expanded means there's more opportunities for other people in the, you know, community. Something dripping in the background. Oh, hold on, let me check. Pause for like 2 seconds. Okay. Cool. Anyway. But where the press is right now, where the press is right now, it's a great jumping off point, because from my point of view and how I've seen the industry work is, to get into a big industry, you have to be published already. You have to have credentials behind your name. But to get those credentials behind your name, you need a job. But to get the job, you have to have the credentials. And it's a back and forth and back and forth. So I decided to be that middleman of being able to have on your resume that you've been officially published. It's essentially the way to open more doors for you. For all of the creators that end up publishing with me, it's for them to say, hey, I've been published. I've been officially published before, so I do have my credentials here. Which is great, because everyone wants a job, but it's the getting it is the hard part. And this is where I realized, oh boy, we're in it now. And by we, I definitely mean me. To take you back in time real quick, the press began September 10th, 2019. During COVID, that was not intentional, I promise you. It just, yeah. who could have planned that? But yeah, it's still fresh. It's 3 years currently. And this was the first tweet made under the Wildstar name. So this was the very first official tweet. And following it is the second tweet is by a friend of mine, Dominique, who, if you don't know Petal Romance, definitely follow, who immediately jumped on board with helping me advertise. And to me, networking isn't just seeking out the biggest professional you see online and trying to reach out to them. It's also grabbing your friends and asking them to help you boost your work while you do the same for them. It's the easiest path to start with, honestly. Let me be one of the many to tell you that your connections made in your art communities, like for me, it was SCAD, and then it's several different Discords that I'm in, even Twitter, the art communities, all that stuff. Those are incredibly important because they're the ones who will most likely boost and help you find the resources you need compared to, let's say, only reaching out to these professionals with 25K followings and endless lists of jobs that they're doing at the time. And especially for me, because this is a publishing press, word of mouth through friends with followings or just through friends and family and such helped Wildstar Press get noticed way faster than if I was yelling about this by myself. It would have gotten there, don't get me wrong. It just would have taken a longer time. So it's definitely like a friendship is magic situation, if I may. And this isn't to say professional networking isn't important, but for me and my journey, it was imperative for me to have a close community because emailing people like comics news sources and other indie publishers, those all gave me, yes, MLP, it helps. It gave me low results talking to like those communities, those larger brands. And part of that was because in the beginning, I was new. I made my own website. Things weren't quite as nice and clean as they were now. There was essentially no frame of reference for my professionalism. I was definitely professional, but because those companies and news sites didn't see it for themselves, they just kind of wrote me off as like, oh, okay, this is just another person existing. So following this train of, yes, again, friendship is magic, I once again reached out to friends because what better person to help than a friend? I made sure to reach out to friends that had those skills that I needed. So, for example, with the first link, Seth Smith, great dude. He updated my website so to the website it is currently. So it's extremely sleek, extremely professional. I only have an old screenshot of like the mobile before when it was like purple and yellow. It wasn't terrible, but it got better, and that's all we need to know. It's better now. And then when working on the press, the very first anthology I did, I enlisted a friend. Shout out to Zab, who is in Block D, I believe. I pretty much enlisted Zab to do the covers for me because I am running this publisher by myself. So I am the organizer, the editor, the publisher, the marketer, etc., etc. And there was no way I was about to do a cover on top of that of an anthology of all things. No. So I figured, let's find someone that can draw better than me and just do it. And I'll pay them to do it. And so I, got a friend, Zap. I may be a one-man band with this press, but I've long since learned that I can ask for help. And that's definitely something you should remember. It is okay to ask for help. Like, again, I've given up on some of the tasks that I do, like designing covers for anthologies, making bookmark designs. All of that I've given to Zab because if I can pay her, then she can do it. Plus, these are also kinds of things that both Seth and Zap can like slap on their portfolio. So it's like a win-win situation. But I get the great art and the website that I need. They get paid and also some more cushion for their portfolios. And again, networking with professionals is definitely something you want to do, but for me personally, building a comics publisher, it was a little more challenging because I'm going to them as a publisher rather than an artist looking for a portfolio review. Yeah, shut up. um, but yeah. And then also it helped that some of the Discord groups that I'm in, I also helped I create. So there's different communities like, LGBT, specifically all Black. Pretty much, build the communities you want to see if you don't already have them with you. And with that being said, it's not easy at all. No matter building a company, an LLC, from game development to comic publishing, it is not easy. No matter how much advertising and help I get from friends. So again, I've had plenty of experience running anthologies and zines thanks to clubs and all that stuff, all that good stuff. So I'm not a stranger to the process. However, what was completely new was working with strangers with the intent to like pay them specifically, because most zines, as you know, they give the money to charity or something, which I've done plenty of. Most of the money just went straight into production, that kind of thing. Whereas as a publisher, as a legitimate publisher, all of the creators that come to work with me are under contract and being paid. So that's like a very serious responsibility. And I'm like, okay, this got to be perfect. And of course I did pay them. The stumbling block came with the very first Kickstarter of Tales of the Unknown. That was our first anthology, a cryptid anthology. Essentially, which I'll explain a little bit more in detail later, I was Icarus who flew too close to the sun. I had a model kind of modeled after another indie publisher, and rather than kind of catering it to myself, I catered it according to them, and the Kickstarter fell through. So, like, the idea in the process, because I did do the research, it was definitely there. I just essentially forgot that people wouldn't flock to something that they didn't know. Because the publisher that I modeled after, which was Iron Circus? Yes. I modeled after like a couple of them, but anyway. Pretty much I had the mentality of, okay, this Kickstarter has the goal of 500 backers, when in reality, at the time, I should have prepped for like at best 50. But it's important, this is definitely something you guys should keep in mind. It's important that you know. You never truly fail if you know how to adapt. The first Kickstarter I did definitely failed. It didn't work through. But instead of, being sad about it and kind of giving up there, I flipped the script and made it into a pre-order system. So instead of doing a crowd-funded campaign, I decided, hey, all those people that did want the book, they still have the opportunity to get it. So I could still say for sure that the press is expanding and reaching out and all that good stuff. And despite all of those ups and downs from like a failed first Kickstarter, I got acknowledged by a well-known comic book freelancing site called Creator Resources, which is another resource that you definitely should check out. It's just, it's pretty much straightforward. It's resources for comic creators. But with that Kickstarter and amongst some other advertising, I ended up being put on a list of publishers alongside all of these well-known and big name publishers, I got mine tacked right at the bottom with the creator owned and indie section, and like from there it was legitimate. It was, yeah, you're definitely a real publisher. People are going to come find you. It was great. And then after that, I managed to get into a few interviews, like with Shout Out Atlanta and some other ones. And then, I also got a chance to speak at both my school, at a library, at Black Card Gala. Shout out to this gala because it's great. So again, not every failure is a bad thing, so long as you take what happened and you learn from it. You learn, you adapt, and you just do better, and you keep moving forward. Because trust me, yeah, exactly. Learn from the mistakes. Just because you can learn from your mistakes, though, that does not mean you can't prevent a lot of failures from happening. So sometimes you gotta make sure you don't make mistakes. I would have lost my mind trying to start a publishing press from scratch. So like a good artist, I found references. Use your references, kids. They're great. These three of these in particular are indie companies of varying sizes. There's Iron Circus, Shortbox, Arledge Comics. Saturday M isn't really an indie publisher. It's got its own brand, but it's up here anyway. But essentially, I used these three, the Iron Circus, Shortbox, and Arledge Comics, as like a place to start studying. I studied how they worked, how they marketed their success, all that stuff, seeing what they did so I could take pieces of it and incorporate it and make it my own, because what better way to be successful than to take what you see and make it yours. I used them as a guide of how I started, how I should advertise. I learned what I liked about them, what I didn't, and pretty much more and more began to incorporate it. Even things down to like the submission guidelines and newsletter formats. And I still do that to this day. Like there's Power and Magic Press. That's a great indie publisher. There's a new one called Quindry. And there's probably even more out there. And with Saturday M in particular, I learned more about the inner workings, because obviously I don't work for any of these companies, so I don't know how they work internally. So my internship with Saturday AM, that pretty much helped me figure out that pipeline from this person submitted this book all the way to this book is now being published. And the biggest emphasis on it is that I did use them as a guide, which means once I had the foundation of it all set, once I was like, okay, these are all of my puzzle pieces, I jumped right in. Had I waited any longer, I would have fumbled around, I would have procrastinated, I would have started doubting the whole plan from the get-go. You'll waste more time trying to figure out if you can do something rather than just jumping in and learning and growing as you go. So why wait? You have all this room to make mistakes, but you don't have all the time in the world. Use your time wisely. And again, this is all still very new for me. I'm just using what I learn and I'm making it better. There's a large learning curve, obviously, because again, this is a whole company. This isn't just me deciding, hey, I'm going to publish my own comic. This is me going, hey, I'm going to take other small creators' comics, and I'm going to publish them officially. It's a learning curve to keep everything afloat as a one-man band, doing the marketing, the publishing, book design, and that. And I pretty much have to learn every day. There's so many different things, like printers. Yes, I knew about printing from zines and all, and I've learned about paper sizing and formatting from SCAD, but now I'm learning more in depth about like paperweights and finishes and which printers are a good cost, all of that stuff. Like, to tell you the truth, I didn't even know what a book plate was until I started doing the press. And if you didn't know what a book plate was, and you're like me, it's just a fancy label or a card insert that's essentially like indicating the ownership. Like, how they have this book belongs to. That's a book plate. I thought it was a whole lot fancier than that. I thought, I don't know, not an actual plate, but like, something metal. I'm like, why would you have that with a book? It's too much. No, I was wrong. And that's why we learn. And then, of course, there's like ISBNs for books. Those were easy to learn about. Didn't know that they were as expensive as they were, which money is another factor that I'll definitely talk about later. Then there's still more stuff that I have to learn, like going through news and review sites. They're hard to get in contact with. There's a lot of professionals that are, in general, just hard to get in contact with. So my focus is always on the community itself, seeing what the community wants, what the community is into, what kind of stories they want to read, or what kind of stories they want to tell. Because at the end of the day, that's who I'm catering to, the people. Like, if a comics news site or a review site wants to come talk to me, it's okay, cool, great. So long as my mission statement is being, proven. Like, these are uplifting the voices of diverse creators that want to tell stories about representation. And then, of course, there's comic shops, which that's a big thing. I've currently gotten into one comic shop. Wildstar Press is Georgia-based, and one of the comic shops I managed to get into. It's great. I feel official. I feel like a big kid. Even advertising is hard. And as artist, I can assure you that I can guess that everyone knows that advertising is hard. And to give you a clearer, yeah, it is very huge, thank you. To give you a clearer view of my struggle with social media, Wildstar Press has 4 social medias, and again, one person. I need you all to remember that I am one person behind all of this. It's very important. So there's a Twitter, there's an Instagram, there's a Facebook, there's a Tumblr, but there's 3. There's 3 of them. There's a Tumblr, but don't worry about it. Oh, and there's also a newsletter. That's the 4th one, actually. Not Tumblr. The newsletter is the 4th one. So scheduling posts, Canva, etc. is my best friend. It's the most important part and also the hardest part. I have to figure out algorithms for posting on multiple platforms. I have to make sure I post all at the right times. We don't talk about Tumblr. And to be honest, I'm still not the best at it, which is why having templates and scheduled posts makes my life so much easier. If you've gone to the Wildstar Press social media, you'll notice that there are posts that look similar, but like the content in the middle of it is changed. And that's because I made a template for that specific topic. So right now there's an anthology that's in the works. It's called Songs of the Sea. Shout out to all of them that are working on it because they're great. And all of the creator features look the exact same. Just the name and the image is changed because I can just change it and go, schedule it, keep on going with my life. And if you really notice, you'll see that, okay, this template's for new upcoming books, or this template's for books that are already out. There's a rhythm to it, but it also kind of subconsciously gives the audience it makes them realize what it is before they even read it. But in the early stages of Wildstar Press, I went about like a month. It could have been longer than a month. Just kind of posting day of. Yeah, consistency is key, guys. But yeah, like the very early stages, I went posting day of, and it was hectic, and the designs weren't great, and I was stressed out because I was on a moving train trying to keep the tracks going. And then so when I got the website upgrade, I had to keep the professionalism going. I had to keep everything looking as nice as the website. So for me personally, I use Trello for scheduling and doing to-dos. So like what time newsletters go up, et cetera, et cetera. And then again, Canva I use for creating template posts. Sometimes I do it by hand, but why do it by hand when you can make your life easier? Work smarter, not harder. Not everything has to be complicated, I promise you. You don't have to be that deep about it. And then of course using schedule posting apps and sites. So for example, there's Recurpost. That's a very big one. You can use Twitter scheduling. There's plenty of them. um, don't follow this particular post, this picture on best times to post. This is an old picture, and the algorithm changes like every Wednesday because social media doesn't care. They do what they want. It's chaos. But this is an example. And it's still and it's still a learning curve though. Like we're always consistently learning. Like when I started this, I personally don't like posting that often at all, but for a company, I have to, because if I don't, how will you know who I am? How will you find me? And then, as working freelance and all the jobs that I do have, sometimes I just completely forget to post things, which is why scheduling is great, because I could be busy that entire day and then all of a sudden I'm like, why am I getting all of these notifications? Because past me was smart and scheduled the post. And then for the newsletters in particular, which not many artists, just general artists use newsletters, but it's a once a month thing. And if things are stacked like crowdfunding and books, that's what I use it for. Just give those early notifications for the people that are like really keyed in to what Wildstar Press is doing. They get the firsthand view of what I'm doing before I post it on social media. Check out the newsletter. That's a shameless plug. But when I put in the effort to make those posts look nice, when I put in the effort to schedule things on time, it shows in engagement and in reach. And it's still hard. Not the press is more known than it was a few months ago, but it's still small. And then, at the end of the day, sometimes I'm just like reaching out to friends and being like, hey, can you share this? Because I need help. Because it's okay to ask for help. And then to top it all off, the best thing about publishing, the best thing about making a business is money is always involved. Research doesn't stop at the where and the what. There's also a how much question that is so constant and always there. It's especially since, again, this is an indie publisher, so 90% of this comes out of my own pocket when it's not being crowdfunded. Thank you for the link. Appreciate it. I mentioned before about printers and ISBNs and all that good stuff. And after the amount of research I've done, especially for my zine days, I have a long list of just sources and links to different companies, like which ones are best for print, which one's best for stickers, which one's best for this, that, and the other. But it goes farther than that. It also goes into hosting a website, having a storage space for creators to drop files. There's a lot of things that go on just to keep it moving, like keep things afloat, like even having like a mass postage for crowdfunding, which I don't have. Fortunately, I don't need it now. There's a lot to keep up with. And in the process of learning about comic book shops and their ISBN preference, so if you ever do a consignment with a comic shop, and consignment is basically you signing a contract with the comic shop saying, hey, I want my books in the shop here, and this is the percentage that they'll give you, etc., etc. They prefer books with ISBNs on them because it's easier to scan, and a lot of a lot more technical stuff. But in the process of learning about the budget for that, I learned, one, how expensive they were, and how buying 10 of them was better than buying a single one, because I guess a sale, quote unquote, which is also incorporated into how I run the press currently, because having 10 ISBNs at a time, it makes me more selective about the books that I put them on. So for me specifically, books of a certain page count, I'll add the ISBN to them, whereas the smaller, shorter stories, they don't get one. It's no difference on how, like price wise, besides like, if it's larger, buys more, but it's a nuance that I have to go through. Because again, this is all me from comic submissions to print. I have to pay for a lot of things. So again, mistakes are made, but I have to, adapt. And the biggest error on my part was going back to the first anthology, Tales of the Unknown, the cryptid anthology, was paying the creator. The contract itself said that creators would get paid the first half of the funds before the crowdfunding, and the second half after the Kickstarter. Essentially, I aimed too high of a goal. 25K is technically a normal goal for a very big book or an anthology. It's just that this goal is with the expectation of like 500 people that are going to back your project. Whereas I should have, instead of having that very high expectation, I should have narrowed it down to like consider, okay, I have about maybe 500 followers on this social media and 200 on this one. Out of all of these, I should expect 50 at the most, or at the least, I mean. And that's where I should have like garnered that. But again, it's okay to make mistakes, because at the end of the day, even though we didn't get that 25K, I still managed to flip it and make it a pre-order system. People still got their books, and it was already in contract. Like Danny did mention, always work with the contract. It did mention that the second half of the goal would be paid should the Kickstarter succeed. And now currently with Songs of the Sea, it's the same situation, except instead of funding on Kickstarter because of their terrible NFT decision, which was dumb, it's all going to be full focused on the website itself. So it'll be crowdfunded directly from the press site. It'll be a mix of like crowdfund and pre-orders, which essentially is everyone that backs the project will definitely get their book, but we still want a certain amount of people we want a certain amount of orders to have those extra funds for the artists, and for the extra fun merch. Okay, cool. But from the one mistake to 7 books and about 6 more to arrive later, and the new anthology, again, gonna harp on the friendship is magic thing, because your friends are your best network. In the early stages of the press, I reached out to all of my peers at SCAD, because where else was I going to find a bunch of students or people that just came from comics that want to make comics? The people I graduated with. And I essentially went, hey, so I started a publishing company. Do you want to publish a comic? And the first person that stuck was Canon, whose Instagram is up there. She wanted to make an 8-issue series or 10-issue series called Plastic Crown, and that was the very first book that started the press, and it's currently on 3 of 8. We edited it, so it would be 8 issues instead of 10. And from there, I opened up comic submissions, which again was another bump of the road, a teaching moment. People come in with questions about the press. There's weary trust with such a new publisher. So of course, not a lot of people would submit. All that good stuff. And then the biggest issue is people turn away because, again, this is an indie publisher, and some people expect me to pay large book advances. Okay. Large book advances, like out of pocket. This is out of pocket. I can't pay you like a 5K advance because you want me to. I'm sorry. I can pay smaller. But book advances come with crowdfunding, and how I also subverted that, not stigma, sort of subverted that like hurdle. I pay the creators royalty fees. So like with every book, they get this particular amount of money. Book advances will be coming later down the line. It's just not right now. It's a slow process because this is one person trying to build a publishing company. And then, of course, people also just said no in the early stages, because you see a new company, you gotta see how it works, see if they're actually what they say they are. And people didn't want me to be a scam. And fortunately, I'm not. And let's see. Oh, receiving like submissions and such, it was definitely an eye-opener about how submission processes worked, and how it's such a make or break step. So if any of you are comic artists or comic book artists out there and you're planning on submitting to a publisher, or me when I am in fact open for submissions, make sure you read the submission guidelines. There is an entire process. It tells you from start to finish what we're looking for, what we're not looking for. I don't have all the time in the world, so if I see something that's not what I asked for, I'm just going to toss it out. And I can imagine that's done. I get maybe 50 submissions, maybe a little bit more, but larger publishers definitely get like hundreds upon thousands of them. I can see why they just throw them out. If it's not exactly to par with the guidelines. And then of course there's release forms, which is just the legal way of saying you own everything and you're old enough to do this, that kind of thing. But through that process of submissions, the people that I do pick, this is more so like how I do the process. Through that whole submissions, there's also rejection and acceptance letters. Not every company gives you a rejection letter. I try to be the one to subvert that so people know whether or not and why they didn't get accepted into it. But yeah, it's all in all. It's just it's been a slow climb upward. That's where I'm getting at with this. But yeah, now there's about 6 books coming out, one of them being manga inspired. In this corner up here, I took the right bus, but somehow I ended up in the demon world. It's a very fun play on manga. And then, there after the submissions process, there's the editing process, which in the short version, everyone's got a different comic process, and I try to make sure that I adapt to each one. And eventually, at some point, when I am very much bogged down, I'll get some more editors to come help me. But you made it through the submissions, you got the editing done. Surprise, I'm also your editor as well as your publisher. And hold on. 1 second. Yeah, this is pretty much like just editing. Yes, surprise, I do it all. From there, after I edit the books, they get opened for PDF sales, because some people prefer buying PDFs of comics for space rather than having the physical book. Also, creating PDFs or ebooks, quote unquote, for them is a lot easier and cost efficient. But then after that, there's after getting like proofs of the book, there's the physical sales, which for the press itself, it's print on demand, which if you don't know, print on demand is when you demand it, it will get printed. I do have a small stock in my home, but again, this all comes out of pocket. So I wait for people to want books to like purchase them and then send them out. But it'll be different later because when this press is, large and popular, I won't have to worry about all of that. But that is the gist of Wildstar Press. That's just about everything. Now you know. Now you know more about another comic publisher that you can look into and support that is, in fact, owned by myself. Support Black people. It's Black History Month. Support me all the time, though, not just in Black History Month. There's only 28 days in Black History Month. But to wrap this all up in a nice little bow, you can go to wildstarpress.com. Thank you for the links. Submissions are closed currently, but there is an anthology that's coming out in June, so keep an eye out for that. There's also several books coming out later this year. Definitely keep an eye out for those. Twitter, Instagram, Wildstar Press. If you want to find me personally, hello, you can go to bluebat_ for Instagram and Twitter as well. And after that, is there any questions after I've went through this whole deal or whole spiel about Wildstar Press? I think I saw one earlier, but the chat has scrolled since scrolled. Oh, thank you. Friends support friends. Yes, but how do you build a team, or should it be built project by project? What do you mean by this? I need you to clarify. Building a team. Most of the work that is done by teams already. I personally don't bring teams to. That is an important thing. I don't put teams together because I don't have the time or I don't have the time to, so I expect people to come to me either as an artist and writer themselves or with their own team. Oh, thank you for all the links. Appreciate it. Are Lulu ISBNs good? It can be. It's not bad, but I would go to there's an official site that I cannot tell you off the top of my head. I'll put it in this chat after this is all said and done. But because I think Lulu is like the shortcut. Yeah, Bauer. Thank you. Because I think Lulu is like supposedly like the shortcut. I wouldn't trust it. I would just go with Bower or Bauer, whatever. Work with friends, yes, but do you like construct a set team, or is it for each project you gather friends at that time? Oh, for projects, I don't necessarily gather friends for projects, essentially. My friends have helped me in the sense of creating the anthology covers, creating sometimes when I'm just too busy, creating the Canva ads for me, or the website. The projects themselves, those are all coming through from submissions that people have seen the press and they're interested and they want to be a part of it. So I work with them, and through contract, we work that whole comic process out. How long it'll take them to make the comic, and then giving them like an extra 6 months because everyone wants to do a comic in like a year, and I'm like, please save yourself. You can take your time. Again, shout out to Danny, because like they said, we're not about to rush this. We don't do crunch culture here. Yeah, no problem. Any other questions for me? Because if not, And that's it, guys. You've learned about a comic press. Hope you guys enjoyed, because I'm glad I got to talk to you guys about it. Oh yeah, but if you ever have questions, you can reach out to me on social media. I do answer, unless you just start with hi and don't say anything else, I probably won't answer. Thank you for listening, and the support, and all the love. You too can build your own company. You might struggle, but hey, now you know. Yeah, blue hearts for blue. Have a great rest of the... Yeah, knowing is half the battle. Have a great rest of the gala, guys. It's been real. Oh, check out my community booth. Why didn't I plug that? Yeah, check out my booth. It's in the community section. There's books there. Read them. Oh, thanks to your roomie, Shib. I'm trying my best. It's fun, though. That's the better part of it. For me, this is all fun. It's a lot of work, but it's fun to, um, publish these creators, because seeing people so excited about their work being published, it makes me excited. It's like, oh, they have this idea that they've had for ages, and me being able to be the one to help them see it through fully is it's a joy. It's nice. Okay. Do it. Okay. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna end now.
Yes! Double Edge is the best sword buff. Do not at me. Koi! Koi! Thank you for the follow! Thank you for drag and dropping by. True shot, thank you. Hope you're doing well. How are you doing? How's your gala experience going? Back again. Hey, Bo. Welcome back. Glad you can make it again. Oh my god. Please. Thank you. You're currently in... Our last talk was incredible. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Nice having such a flash up your R2. Look at you go. Yeah. I'm really sad that I can't attend any of the panels like right now. But we're here. Because like, God, there's so much talent happening at this gala right now. I'm so impressed by everybody.
Delicious.
Ooh! Key. We're speeding. I'm charged up. Don't worry, they'll all be on VODs. Yes! Because, like, as much as I'm, like, not, like, really in, like, the games industry, or looking to get into the games industry field right now, it is something that I've always been interested in. And, like, I've always wanted to do things around it. Like, reflex this for sure. Ooh, into a storeroom. Very happy to be back on your stream that loves Hades, even if I can't play it myself. Yeah. I'm glad that I can provide that entertainment for you. Here, Boldy. Take that. Thank you. Ooh, Demeter. Yeah. I love hearing about game development. Nice. I need one thing and one thing only. It was not that, but I'll take that. Okay.
Damn you. Not yet.
Okay. Do you a lot of the advice people give applies outside of games too? Wildstar Press knowledge bonus. Nice. As a budding creative with no time on his hands, I would be interested. Because God, working a full-time job definitely eats a lot of your time. Throughout the week, at least. So, like, I'm appreciative for any knowledge people have to give Poseidon. Stop. Okay. Tile dash.
Let's make some waves.
Excuse me. Oh my god.
Here's the fee.
Sure.
Oh, truly.
Snowburst. Hey, it's her.
All right.
Okay. Guys, just try to reload my sword. Let's go.
Damn.
Trav, what are your fave boons? Pressure points. What am I taking even? Oh my god. Pressure points. True shot for sure. Oh man.
Next time, top for us.
Zeus's Aid, the Wrath one, where you like call down lightning bolts, is really cool. My favorite or not epic. My favorite duo boon has to be either Deadly Reversal, which is the Artemis Athena one, where it's like if you reflect, you get a chance to crit based on that, and then like either that or exclusive access, which puts all of your boon at epic, all of your like future boons at epic, which is I think crazy. Stop. There we go. Okay. I was about to say, you know who I haven't seen yet? You know who I haven't seen it? To all the plans that we made. Okay.
Sailing.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice. Let's see. Other funny ones I think are really cool. Oh my god. God, it's so hard thinking about this while also doing a speedrun. Oh man, ah! Cool. Gosh.
Let's get out.
Aphrodite's Aid is also really cool. It's like one of my favorites, but only at max level, because I just like having a giant bullet to shoot at things. Huh!
What a mess.
Thank you, Meg. But yeah, I think those are my favorites off the top of my head. There's definitely more.
Fabulous.
Oh, Hunting Blades with Ares and Artemis is also one of my favorites, along with all of the blade upgrades. Because it just makes it really funny. Because you're just like, here's a big old disc. Ooh.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Okay, sweet surrender. Is that a Chaos Gate right here?
Let me have it.
Oh! Legs.
All right then.
Okay. No.
Not what I need right now.
No. These all suck. Hermes. This stream has been sponsored by Curse of Agony and Killing Freeze. Valid. So valid. Please.
Anyway, bye.
Flurry cast. I'm trying to set up for the Hermes Legendary. Yeah, in terms of duos, I like Lightning Rod a lot too. Lightning Rod's very funny to me. Actually, this might be a boon. The dash lowering. Especially since I have double edge. Just shred. Wow. Nice. Oh. Uh-oh. What are y'all's favorite boons out of curiosity? I would love to know. What's also a really funny one? Scintillating Feast between Dionysus and Zeus. That's always a good one, in my opinion.
Enough. More darkness.
Alright, True Shot is at highest rarity now. That means we can really tear things up now.
Short work of I take it.
That one. Not these ones. That one. God, why I take a dash nerf? This is so bad. It's good for damage, but it's not good for traversing. Okay, okay. I don't need another Daedalus Hammer. I have the best one. It's the only one I need. I really like Hades just for the fact that you can cancel your attacks so cleanly.
God's grant me strength.
Yup. Oh, and they gave me the hammer anyway. Okay. Ow. Okay.
Time to tune up this sword.
I don't like any of these, but I guess I have to take Curse Slash. I guess I have to take it. Say hello to 64 health and only 64 health. Free room.
Hello again. I'm grateful. Thanks for this.
Okay. Dionysus. Blade Riff, my beloved. I love the Spinny. The Spinny is very good. Cool. Ah, finally we're off of the dash nerf. Sub 6 though, which is pretty nice. Yep. Probably should have taken the attack, but we'll probably run into Dionysus again at some point.
I can't.
Narrator voice that he never ran into Dionysus again.
I'm empty.
Sick near miss. Ow!
Not now. Not yet.
Do you mind? Thank you.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Hunter's Mark. Palm of Power. Okay. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Okay. Ow.
Gods grant me strength.
The downside about taking Curse Slash is that Grab a Snack will be back once again, hopefully thoroughly enjoying the gameplay. Oh, I'm glad. Later, Bo. Oh god. Anyway, back to my thought. The downside about Curse Slash is that it doesn't count Dash Strike as an attack that steals HP. Like, you have to do your regular attack, which is definitely a time sink for us. So basically, I just took a nerf, essentially.
Good night.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Not now.
Oh no! Now look at me. Got him.
Coin from the dead.
Okay. Let's go.
I can use this.
Please.
Electric.
Yes.
Time for the main event.
Oh my god, he's already at half. Let's go. Ares. Don't I have Ares on right now? He's dead! The man is dead. Woo! Let's go.
Thank you, thank you.
I feel like I'm just going slower just because I don't have hyper sprint. Bone hourglass. Thank you. Nope. Please.
Do this again.
Okay.
The Temple of Sticks. Maybe this way. Not now.
Cool.
I can't. I can't. Not yet. Can't do that.
Okay. Rat.
Another one of those especially gigantic vermin.
Oh god. I forgot I only had 76 health.
No use. Not now. Thank the fates.
Man. Okay. That's good actually. At this juncture, that's pretty good.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm empty. No way. I can't. Not yet.
Oh no! The rat! God, I'm dying. Oh no. Okay, I need to, like, not die. That'd be great. Where are you? Oh my god. Whew! Oh my god, that took me like a minute. Ugh. The tiny vermin is the bane of everybody's existence.
Need to keep
Including my own.
ways.
Ugh, that sucked. We're still here. Ow! Death Defiance? I'll take that. Dying. Probably wasn't the smartest thing to take her slash, but you know what? Oh god. Ow.
Okay. No use.
Maybe I can gamble for it if there's a forge. Okay. Sack 3. That was pretty nice.
Disgusting. Cerberus will love it. Hang back.
Is there a forge? It's not a forge, it's a Hermes ruin. Ooh. I think the dashes are definitely going to help more than the recall. I don't have an attack boon though, do I?
Bye for now, boy.
Sometimes you just forget. Sometimes you just forget.
You've slipped.
Meg! I'm empty.
Darkness.
Oh yeah, this is definitely helping. Ow.
Another.
Send out your minions. Oh no. One's got a hand. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god.
Darkness.
Okay. It's not a good speedrun when you're fearing for your life.
You brought this on yourself.
Kinda did, yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
I can't.
Oh. Okay.
There.
That's one. Also, if you die at any point during a speedrun, you just lose. Oh!
Can't do that.
Half. Ah! Sheesh, this is cutting it way too close. Playing safe. Ah!
You test my patience.
This is it. Oh my god, I almost died there. Oh my god. Let's keep going. Anyway. Oh, boy. Oh boy, that was not Curse Slash at all. I just made that run significantly worse, but oh my god, I can't believe I lived that.
Carelessly fell off a precipice or something, plunging him into the rapids of the Styx.
Oh my god. Oh, jeez. That was close.
Ouch. Alright. Again?
Okay, it's gun time. It is detox gun time.
How's it going, Skelly?
Goodbye. Round 3.
You tell.
No.
I would like none of these.
That's better. We give up the epic boons for what we actually need. HP.
There we go.
That's fine. Okay. I was about to we about to get ready to end on BCM side, Trav. Anything you want to say before we go? Support the gala, support all the artists that we have here. It's been a lovely time hanging out with everybody, and just, you know, support the gala, support the people behind it. If you guys want to drop any socials and or payment methods you want, please feel free. I am more than welcome to promote. I'm more than happy to promote them, because y'all do incredibly good work and you guys deserve the world. Honestly, this has been a wonderful experience. But yeah, follow BCM, follow the founders, follow the community, follow the managers. They all do great stuff, and I am happy to be a part of it in this capacity. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you're all enjoying the gala, and I hope you have a good rest of your weekend with it. Thank you for being here.